Hey there, I'm Kevin Downey, and I run an agency called Kevin M. Downey, where we help B2B companies with their sales and marketing efforts. You can visit our website at kevinmdowney.com. Okay, today's topic, pretty similar to one I just recently did, but I had some thoughts on this coming out of that video, and I thought I would add some stuff. But this is the ultimate business development and sales plan for B2B companies in 2024, right? So we talk about all the challenges in cold outreach, business development, manual outreach. Boots on the ground certainly can be still effective, but provides a lot of challenges these days. How do you set things up from a lead generation to sales model, right? Sales team structure for your B2B company now in 2024, knowing everything that we know and having gone through everything with COVID and all that stuff. So starting from scratch, I would tell you at a 30,000 foot view, you want to drive inbound leads for sales, right? Or BDR, SDR team, but let's just say sales in general. And you want to move those leads to calls with your sales team. They may be face-to-face calls, they may be virtual calls, right? Depends on what you sell, that kind of thing. Okay. That's the 30,000 foot view. That's how you want to structure it. Now, your sales team, right, and how you start and how you grow depends a little bit on how much time do you have as a principal to take sales calls initially, and are your sales representatives going to have, or account executives, account managers, are they going to have an ongoing relationship with a customer base where they're growing a book of business, right? So I'm just give a couple of examples. Different manufacturing and industrial sales where they have an ongoing relationship selling whatever they have, distribution sales, corporate gift, corporate catering, all kinds of things, right, would qualify as account executive, account manager roles where they're building a book of customers. It may be as small as 50, maybe as big as 500, right? But I would say the normal account executive, account manager is handling 150 to 300 customers typically, right? And again, whether they're face-to-face or they work virtually in that sales role, they've got an ongoing relationship with that customer base, and they've always got fill-in inventory they have to sell, reorders, upsell, cross-sell opportunities, but they've got a book of business. They're expected to have that book of business, and that book of business should drive them so much in sales per year if they do their job correctly, right? So we call those reps account executives, account managers. Then on the other side of sales, you have what we call a hunter sales role. And a hunter sales role would be you drive me as a sales representative calls and appointments, and I do those appointments and I present an offering for your company, right? Or you present the offering for your company to a customer, right? And I no longer have, right, maybe a proposal. And then once I get paper, once they sign as a customer on whatever proposal I put out there, I do not have an ongoing relationship with that customer, right? That's a hunter sales role. I may still talk to them once a year, say hi, that kind of stuff, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is the deliverable, right, and everything that you're doing as a company, the sales representative really has nothing to do with that. And they don't have an ongoing sales relationship with that customer base. So they're always selling to new customers. We call that a hunter sales model. Okay, so now take those two things in perspective and understand the difference of those two and how your company and what the products and services you provide, how that relates. Okay, now how do we build a business development to sales and sales team structure, to sales process and sales team structure for those two different things, right? So take first the account executive, account manager model, right? So let's say you're a startup, you're getting started, you've got enough capital to hire your first account executive, account manager. What you're going to do is you are going to set up email, right? An email process to drive them some inbound leads so they can follow up with those leads, schedule their own appointments, okay? They are going to do some business development on the front end for sure in the first few months, maybe 6 months, whatever it takes until email takes enough hold and there's enough volume to drive them sufficient inbound leads so that they really don't have any time to do any manual business development. But you're going to keep driving them inbound leads and potential and opportunities so long as they're successful so that they can fill their schedule, their appointment schedule, build their book of business until they can no longer take any more calls. They can no longer take any more leads because they've got a full book of business and their entire day is spent dealing with their existing customer base. At that point, or right before that point, you now want to hire your second sales representative, your second executive account manager type person. That model is relatively easy because they're going to have the ongoing relationship with the customer. I generally like them fielding their own leads and doing their own follow-up. Can you put a BDR, SDR person in that in between to receive the inbound leads, do the follow-up to move them to a scheduled call with the executive account manager? Sure, you can, but in general, if it's possible, I like those reps to have the executive account managers to do their own follow-up because they're going to have the ongoing relationship with the customer base. Okay, so that is the first sales, business development to sales model, right? Again, it doesn't matter if those executive account managers are doing face-to-face sales, they're doing route, in person, or they're doing all virtual. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's still the same basic process and setup. Okay. Now let's talk about a slightly more complex, in some ways, setup, and that is the hunter sales model. So most principals in organizations when they first start up, if they come to us and they've got that kind of sales model, the goal is to always, depending upon budget, is email to drive inbound leads, BDR, SDR to drive scheduled calls to the principal that is going to be their first hunter sales rep, and fill their schedule as much as they can handle until you're getting more leads and more opportunities than that schedule can handle. At that point, then I want that BDR, SDR promoted to that hunter sales rep, or hire a dedicated sales rep that's going to fill that void of that principal. And you do the same thing. You're bringing in inbound leads, you're following up with those leads, and you're taking those leads and moving to that hunter sales rep. And you only add layers of BDR, SDR, and hunter sales reps so long as you have the requisite leads coming in to justify adding those people, right? I want that hunter sales rep schedule filled, right? I want that schedule filled. I don't want them having idle time. They should have at least 4, if not 5, 6, 7 scheduled calls, maybe 8. I've heard companies even do 10. Scheduled calls a day. Bring those calls in, get them scheduled so that they're selling all day, every day, and they have the greatest opportunity for the highest amount of income. They are your sales horses. You're investing probably a decent salary in them. You want them to be fully scheduled at all times. And again, you only add layers of BDR, SDR people and hunter sales reps so long as you have the requisite leads coming in to justify that. So depending upon what you sell and your conversion rates, your process and other things, you might actually have more BDR, SDR team than you do hunter sales, or it can be the reverse. You could actually have more hunter sales if you get a lot of appointments for your requisite outreach, and fewer BDR, SDR team. But a lot of times it works out in a pretty even balance, right? I've seen most of the time either a 1-to-1 ratio, or BDR, SDR might fill 2 people's schedules, or you might have 1 sales rep and you need 2 BDR, SDR type people to fill their 1 schedule. It just depends on what you're selling, your marketing, how much volume you have going on. Who you're selling to, process to find decision makers, the size of companies you're targeting, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, that's how you build out that process and sales model, again, when you have a hunter sales role. So those are the 2 different ways I think about structuring things for companies. And of course, we do outsource sales. We do email, obviously email marketing to drive inbound leads for our clients, and all of our outsource sales reps, our clients have email. We have email going on to drive that rep inbound leads, because that is the best way to set things up and have success. And then of course, if you're just looking for recruiting help, we can help you with that. Okay. All right. Hope that helps you. Really appreciate you being here today. You can visit our website at kevinmdowney.com. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.